Alright, muchachos. So, if you want your assignments to be graded and given the score, you will have to install this plugin to DrRacket. So let's just do so right now. I'm going to copy and paste this URL. Don't worry, it should be in the description below. I'm going to go to File, Install Package, and then I'm going to paste this URL in here, alright? And then you hit Install. It should take a little while, and then you can hit this Close button afterwards. But as it's going on, let me explain why, alright? So every starter file, right, every problem should come up with a solution file. You can always compare your solution against my file, but that's not, sometimes that doesn't lead to good learning, because as you compare your solution file to my file, you're like, all right, I think I get it now, but you really gotta fail, and this is what the handin server grading assignments will enable, all right? You can work towards increasing your score and getting the problem correctly, and knowing when you're actually doing something wrong, opposed to just looking at my, solution and thinking you get it when you compare it with your solution, all right? Anywho, handin is installed now. You will have to restart DrRacket. So let's just quit and then open it up again, all right? All right, give it a second. And we're gonna do this problem called string first, which is in section 3. Before that, section 3, there are like 10 problems. I'm gonna be adding more in the future. But if you feel, comfortable after completing 10 of these and you're thinking, all right, it's not getting any harder, you can continue to section 4 and etc. All right, because I'm gonna add a good amount of exercise problems, and I don't expect you to do them all, just enough that you're like, all right, section 3, all these problems are of similar difficulty, and I feel like I can move on now. Otherwise, if you're struggling, keep doing all the problems in section 3, section 4, and etc. before you jump into the next section, all right? Anywho, back to handin. So after you started DrRacket, installing the handin plugin, you should see a button on the top right. It says just HTC handin, and you will use that to submit your assignments. But before we do that, we have to create an account. So you go to File, and then Manage Just HTC handin account, and you will have to create a new user. So go to New User, and then create a new user. So I'm gonna say, user 2, all right? Full name, I don't care, just put you at example.com. All these can be fake. In fact, they should be fake because, it doesn't really matter. Password number 7, you and you, all right? Just the first letter of the user. So add user and success. We have successfully created this account, all right? So now let's get started on the first assignment. All right, so you go to this website, justlearn.com/how_to_code. Link in the description again. We're going to do the first problem of section 3, called string first, all right? So here we go. You can download the starter file. And there's a hint button, which shows which functions that are used in the solution. I would press it if you're stuck on a problem for maybe half an hour or something, and you really just don't understand it, all right? Before looking at the solution, all right? Anywho, let's open this up in Racket. So string first. All right, here we go. Don't edit the first line, by the way. You should never touch the first line. All right, so let's see what the problem is. String first. Design a function named string first, which extracts the first character from a non-empty string. Don't worry about empty strings. So for example, the string dog, we're just gonna get the first letter of D. So it should produce D when given dog. All right. So let's just get started on this problem. So let me see, signature. So they gave us the name of the function. In fact, we're going to give you the name of the function a lot because the auto grader kind of needs it. So anyways, string first is the name of the function. It's going to consume a string and produce a string, all right? And the purpose produces the first letter of the given string, all right? All right, so that's done. Write the stub also. So string first, gonna call this parameter str, and it should produce a dummy value of the string. All right, so that's the first step done. Copy, paste arena. All right, next are the examples. So let me see, check, expect. So they already gave us one example here, so I'm just gonna use that example. So if we call string first with dog, it should produce D, right? Let's do one more example. String first of, let's say, pog. Well, let's do something a lot more different. Let's say steam. Should give us S, all right? All right, So if we run, we gotta make sure the tests are well formed. Let me see. The tests are failing. That's fine. We just want to make sure, you know, that the tests even run in the first place, because you get these problems where, you know, there's like a parentheses missing, mismatching, or etc. All right. So that's done for now. So signature purpose stub examples done. All right. All right. So now I'm gonna turn this stub into the template. So there we go. .str. So we got to use str somehow to get into, you know, the examples. All right. So let's see. Template is done. Again, we'll go over more interesting templates later. Anywho, let's comment out this template. And then let's paste in and start coding. So if you look in the documentation of Racket, substring is what we need. All right. So let me just search in help desk for a second. All right, substring. So what you would do is go to the BSL documentation, look for operations on strings, and see what you can use to get your way towards the solution. In this case, I know it's substring, and substring, let me see. Oh, let me just go magnify this. Substring. So it takes pieces of the string, extracts the substring starting at I up to J, or the end of J if not provided. All right. So 0 and 1 will probably satisfy this problem. 0 and 1. All right. I run this code. All tests should pass, and we are kosher. All right. So code body done. Test review refactor. So I'm hit Control I to re-indent everything, and that's also done. Okay. So now let's submit our assignment. Before we do that, though, let's go over a couple of errors that you may see when you are going to submit your assignment. One of which is what happens if you submit your assignment to the wrong slot, right? So this is the string first problem. It matches the file name right here. So you can always see which slot to submit it in. Well, let's say you accidentally submit it to like TLDR, right? And we're just going to hand that in. It says, you know, it's going to give you an error, all right? The P name right here does not match the one on the server. All right, so evaluate string first expecting TLDR. All right, so this will give you a warning of what happens when you submit it to the wrong slot. All right. And by the way, never change the first line. All right. Anywho, let's go over one more error. So the server expects, you know, a function defined to be string first. So what happens if we name it to something else? Let's like string f or something. String f. All right. So what happens if we do that? Well, it's going to complain at us. So let's submit it to the right slot this time. So string first, submit. And you should get this error called submit error missing binding string first. That means that you got to define a function or a variable or something called string first. All right, it's looking for this so the server can test your function. So I'm just going to undo my changes and then finally submit it correctly. All right. You don't have to type in your password all the time, by the way. It remembers your password for like a couple hours. So just keep hitting the just handin button and you should get this pop up. Your submission has been accepted. A report with timestamp #f will be available after 0 minutes. All right. And it should say handin successful. All right. So now we can check it on the website. So if you go to justlearn.com/7979, this page will give you an error. You have to type in https // and then it'll work. All right. You would get this warning. Just ignore it. It's nothing really dangerous. Click proceed and then enter your credentials. So user 2, you, and then log in. All right. And you should see your result and your grade for the assignment. So test score 2 out of 2. So that means you passed the test our check expects on our custom server. So you got 100% on the test. But the HTTP score has to be graded manually. So by default, you'll get a 0 for all of it. And, you know, maybe when I get around to grading your assignment and making sure that you follow all the steps, then you'll get 100 or something, all right? Because, again, you'll see like some students really skip the steps. They're just going to go, all right, string first, I can do that in my head. It's a pretty small function, right? String first, str, substring, str, 0, 1, I'm done, all right? And then, you know, they're just going to turn this in. But really, we want you to be following all the steps for all the problems that you do. So therefore, it has to be graded manually. Unfortunately, there's not really an easy way for it to auto-grade it, right? And if you go to a school or a university, like UBC or some other colleges, they actually do check, right? You're actually graded on whether you follow all these steps, right? Writing the check specs, writing a good purpose statement, and all the signatures and etc. All right. So again, always follow the recipe. All right. So we're gonna go back to the website. All right. So this is the string first. We just downloaded the starter file and just finished it. You can always click hints and it'll tell you which functions to use. So if you're really stuck and you don't know really what to do next, this will inch you closer towards the solution. You can always download the solution file and compare it against your solution. Right? All right. You can comment here for help, or hey, I found this problem too hard. It should be moved to a different section or moved forward, and etc. Okay. Thank you for watching, human. If you wish to interact with more of your kind, join our Discord linked in the description or on screen. If you want to aid in my quest for world domination, consider hitting the sub button. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, thumbs down if you didn't. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, fire away below. Also, check out the annotations on screen for the next relevant video.